right, good morning everyone. It's so wonderful to have you with us here today on the north point of Plum Island and in the city of Newburyport. And I do want to instruct everyone, it is a day that is much brighter than we expected, so make sure you are using sunscreen. We don't want to have anybody have any ill effects from being out here. I'm State Senator Bruce Tarr, the Minority Leader of the Massachusetts State Senate and the very proud chair of the Merrimack River Beach Alliance. And I am thrilled that we would all be standing here today to commemorate a major milestone in the life of our work together. I also want to recognize the co-chair of the MRBA, Salisbury Town Moderator Jerry Clymer, who I know is out there in the audience somewhere. I'd ask you to give him a round of applause. He's right there. So, you know, it wasn't that long ago that we stood right here on this beach on a very cold day, on a very windy day, and we watched erosion happening right in front of us. And we thought about the threat that that presented, and we thought about the fact that there is no way that we would be able to effectively address the situation without teamwork and collaboration across the board. That day, what sustained us was the hope and the vision that doing as we always do at the MRBA, by pulling everybody to the table and having a conversation about the best way forward, we would get to this day. And thank goodness this day came. This day came when we turned hope into action and we turned anxiety into sand on the beach. And we are all so appreciative for the efforts that have led to this, which are so characteristic of the way the MRBA has always operated. And so today, we have sand coming onto the beach, at least 220,000 cubic yards, and hopefully it's going to be a lot more. We'll have conversations about that offline. But a lot of sand on the beach to provide protection not only to the homes here, but also to critical infrastructure and public safety. This is a very ambitious project. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has an obligation to maintain the navigability of the waterway. We all have a moral obligation to ensure that whenever a waterway is dredged, that the sand gets used in a beneficial way. And those two things came together here with the help of a lot of partners to make sure that the job that had to happen actually benefited the job that needed to happen. And so as we see the sand about to be coming up, and some of it already is here, we thought it was important to just take a moment and pause and reflect on the fact that these things don't happen by accident. They happen when there is determination and leadership and partnership and a fierce commitment to each other that we can get to a better place. And today, we are at that better place. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that today is a milestone. It's not the end of the story, because as the grains of sand pile up on the beach, we need to think about the other things we need to do. Most importantly, creating a spur or some other nearshore structure so that we can arrest the erosion. So that we can arrest the erosion and ensure that the sand that's placed here today, while it will provide protection, we know it will be temporary, so that the sand that placed here today will itself get us to a better day when we're able to put a spur or a jetty there and ensure a long-term solution to the problems that we face. And you know, the entire project, in a way, is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the fact that when we deal with coastal erosion, when we deal with climate change, when we deal with the things that we face in the marine environment, we cannot be reactive. We need to be proactive. We need to think about the best path forward. We need to think how we can do things that are environmentally sustainable. And we need to do things that make a real difference in the life of the coastline and its ecosystem. And this project represents all of those things. Now, we have been so fortunate to have partners at the federal level. And I'm going to first introduce to you someone who has been there at every critical juncture for this project. At sometimes when it might have been looking a little bit grim, we made a phone call or two and he swung into action. And we are so delighted to have him here with us today, because again, this project is here because of partnership, because of state and local and federal governments all working together. And one of our champions at the federal level is our own U.S. Senator Ed Markey. Ed?
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Senator, so much. Thanks to everyone joining us here today. With my great partner, Seth Moulton, we worked hard in D.C. in order to get this money. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Carvelli, thank you for all of your great work. Diana Dizoglio, our great leader, thank you for everything that you are doing to make this project possible. To our great mayor, Sean Reardon, congratulations on today. Lela, Wright, to Representative Mirra, so great to be with you. Jamie Balcedo, State Representative Jamie Balcedo, I saw her right over here, beautiful. Dawn Shand, who is here as well, that is great. Caroline Friedman from the office of Senator Warren is here today, back over here, thank you. And somebody who started talking to me about this 9 years ago, Donna Holliday, who is here today. This is like Deliverance Day for Donna. So thank you all so much. My thanks to Senator Tarr and his team for organizing this event and for his efforts throughout Essex County. Obviously, Congressman Moulton for his excellent work on a daily basis on all of the issues that impact Essex County. Just an incredible leader. And we also have so many other great leaders who are here today. And I just want to say to you, Sean, I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful, long collaboration because you just heard clearly from Senator Tarr that there's more money that is expected from us to finish it off. So thank you all so much in order to get us to this point. We have Lela and Mark Wright for hosting us today. Where's Lela and Mark? Beautiful, thank you so much. The people of the North Shore, especially residents of Plum Island, know firsthand the existential threats that climate change poses to our lives and livelihoods, from rising sea levels to coastal erosion. Here in the Reservation Terrace neighborhood, the imperative to take bold, aggressive action to combat the climate crisis is not only about a sustainable, livable future, it is a fight to preserve this community today. The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for our planet, so we have to engage in preventative care. We have to deploy the wind and the solar of the all-electric vehicles, but we also have to protect that area here in Plum Island that is already impacted by climate change, and that's why we're here today. We celebrate a key milestone, the dredging of Newburyport Harbor and the replenishment of the beach along North Point and Reservation Terrace. Dredging is an important tool in our push to preserve our coast. It is where the rubber meets the road, where the sand hits the beach. As community members here well know, this dredge could not come at a more vital moment. Recent estimates suggest that the shoreline along Plum Island is eroding at a rate of approximately 50 feet per year. In recent years, that erosion appears to have been exacerbated by a tidal gyre caused by the south jetty of the Merrimack River. Unless bold steps were taken, this erosion would only continue as storms battered the coast, roads washed away, and homes flooded an inch closer to the sea. But the people of the North Shore and our elected leaders did not agonize, they organized at the federal level, recognizing the urgent needs of the North Shore. Congressman Moulton and Senator Warren and I dove in head first. In 2021, we secured $7.3 million in federal funding to dredge the mouth of the Merrimack River. Now we are seeing in real time the results of federal dollars at work in Massachusetts. The dredge will achieve two key goals. First, it will maintain the required depths of the channel between the Merrimack River, Newburyport Harbor, and the ocean, ensuring that navigation through the area remains safe and reliable for commercial fishing vessels, Coast Guard operations, and recreational boating. Second, the dredge will significantly mitigate recent erosion on Plum Island by placing at least 226,000 cubic yards of sand along the beach. This effort is projected to add approximately 400 feet of beach along Reservation Terrace, which will reestablish the strength and vitality of the public beach and protect the many homes right on the shoreline. With this dredge, we have placed a down payment on the future of Plum Island. But we know that we cannot stop there. Newburyport's bulkhead, the retaining seawall that structurally supports the city's waterfront parks, is heavily deteriorated. In July of this year, our delegation was proud to announce that the United States Economic Development Administration had allocated $1.75 million to rehabilitate the bulkhead. This critical investment, turbocharged by the $2.25 million earmark that Congressman Moulton secured earlier this year, will protect Newburyport against sea level rise, enshrining the city's rich tourism and commercial fishing industry for generations to come. The benefits of dredging are temporary. It is not enough to simply insulate the coastline from erosion. We now need to address the underlying cause of the erosion itself. And that's why, in partnership with Senator Warren and again with Congressman Moulton, we were able to secure $240,000 for the Army Corps to study how they could alleviate the tidal gyre created by the South Jetty, the source of the intensifying vulnerability on Plum Island. To ensure that the newly dredged sand is not lost to the gyre, I encourage the Army Corps to move expeditiously in completing their study, and we stand ready to support those efforts in any way that we can. Through the combined work of our federal delegation, Newburyport and Plum Island have received over $11.5 million in federal funding in the past 2 years to support its coastal resiliency efforts. This dredge and the associated projects are a testament to the incredible power of federal, state, and municipal officials working in partnership with one another and with their communities. We are building a resilient, proud, long-term future here on the North Shore. So we have incredible partners with the Army Corps, and we thank you for all of the great work that you and your team are doing here. But just understand that in order to really protect against the worst long-term consequences, we're going to have to take that $369 billion, which Congressman Moulton and I worked so hard to put on the President's desk in August, and then get that funding out there. According to Credit Suisse, that's going to unleash $1.7 trillion worth of private sector investment in renewable energy, greenhouse gas reducing technologies all across our country over the next 10 years. Otherwise, we're going to be coming back here over and over and over again as this century unfolds. So this is an incredible day to celebrate. It's the fruits of a lot of people's advocacy over many, many years, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be able to partner on an ongoing basis with our great Congressman Seth Moulton. So Seth, yeah.
Do you want to say thanks? I know better than to get between Bruce Tarr and a microphone.
That's going to cost you about $240 million, Congressman. But no, I did. First of all, want to say thank you to Senator Markey for traveling this very long road with us and believing in us. And I also want to say thanks to two special people in his office, Jim Cantwell, who was here, and also Liam Horseman. So thank you very much to both of you, and let's give you a round of applause. And it has been a long road. And when you travel a long road, it's helpful to have people walking with you who believe in what you're doing, who understand the importance of it, and who will help you get to the place that you need to go. And Congressman Moulton has been walking that road, and I just wanted to, I wouldn't normally fight a congressman for the microphone, but I just wanted a chance to say thank you. Seth Moulton.
Senator Tarr, thank you. Thank you for being not just a great teammate, but really a team leader on this effort. And we're all grateful for your leadership. It's taken a long time. It's taken a long time for us to get here. And it's certainly not lost on me that we're all thanking you in election season, and you're on the other side of the aisle. And what a great example for the country. What a great example for the country of how Democrats and Republicans can work together here in Massachusetts. Now, I'm not going to go through, I mean, as Senator Markey, you did an extraordinary job, as you always do, of thanking everyone, so I won't do that again. All the politicians here have nothing better to do a few days out before the election, so we'll move on for that. But you know, if we were talking to people across the country about this event today, the thing that's most remarkable to me is not the number of politicians here, but the number of citizens who have come out. And I get the fact that it's a beautiful day on the beach. I mean, when we were here last time, it was absolutely freezing cold. And of course, we were here to celebrate the erection of some barriers that were so effective they're not even here anymore. So this has been a long, tough effort. It has not always been as glorious as this day with a beautiful crowd like all of you. And Senator, to be fair, there's been a bit of agonizing over the years as we've gotten to this point. But the fact that we're here is indeed because of the organization and the leadership, not just of the political folks here, but all of you. If I were to try to explain to one of my colleagues what brought so many people out to the beach, they might find it hard to believe that we were celebrating a groundbreaking that we can't see because it's underwater. Or the great result of this is putting sand on a beach, which one wouldn't think you have to do. But for all of us who have been fighting so many years to get this done, and also to get it done right, we know how much work it's taken. I think this is probably the first conversation, Donna, that you had with me after I was elected, because I certainly feel that we have been working on this since literally day one. And day one for me is more recently than Bruce and others and the Senator started working on it themselves. So this really has been a long time coming. Of course, it's going to do a lot to save the residences of people here on Plum Island. But one of the pieces of this that I think is not talked about enough is what it means for the safety of this entire community to be able to use this waterway safely. And that was really impressed upon me when I went out on a Coast Guard boat that is designed to save lives, is manned by men and women who save lives as part of their work. But if they can't get to you, if they can't do it safely, if one of those Coast Guard cutters becomes grounded itself, then people are going to die. And so all the work that went into doing this project, doing it right, so that it helps the future of our environment, doesn't hurt it, it ultimately will result in lives being saved. And for a city that is the birthplace of the United States Coast Guard, I don't think there's a more fitting tribute. So thank you all so much for coming out here today. It's been an honor to work with all of you as well as all of you. And yes, we have a lot more work to do, but this is a real landmark. It's an important day, and it's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Congressman. And again, we appreciate all of your diligence and your fortitude in sticking with us on this long road. And I would remind both you and Senator Markey that the road is not at the end. So we look forward to continuing to travel it. And I do want to say a special word of thanks to a critical staff member from your office who has been, I think, at every MRBA meeting, at every discussion about this project. Every time someone mentions it on the beach, I think she's there. Kelly Bovio from Congressman Moulton's office. Thank you so much. You know, Congressman, you mentioned the partnership, and I would suggest that the sand on the beach is important, and it sends a powerful message that we do have the ability to deal with the threats that we face with regard to coastal erosion. But even more important is the way that we got here, with the partnership that I think sets a model for everyone in this country in dealing with complex and controversial issues. And so we do have a lot to celebrate today. I do want to recognize two of the non-governmental organizations who have been a critical part of the MRBA, who are always at the table, always part of the discussion, always contributing to the effort. The first is the Plum Island Taxpayers Association, led by Ron Barrett, who is somewhere in the audience here. I'm sure Ron is scanning the horizon thinking about the next place we can put sand from his perch up on the stone wall. But I also want to say thank you to the Plum Island Foundation, and they are represented here today by Mark Sarkady. And I want to thank the foundation. Steve DeSalvo is always at our meetings, and Mark is always there working with us. And as we turn this corner, the foundation is already engaged in discussions about how we can move forward with the spur project or some near-shore hard object to be able to prevent the gyre from continuing. So Mark, to you and the Plum Island Foundation, thank you so much. Now, it's important, and I think in many ways one of the unique things about the MRBA is that everybody sits at the same table and has the same discussion about the same problem. And we could not have done this, we could not have done so many things without the partnership that we have with the United States Army Corps of Engineers. I don't know if there are too many forums like ours where the Army Corps of Engineers comes to every single meeting and engages in the discussions that we have. They tell us when things are possible. Sometimes we don't like it when they suggest things are not possible. That's when we pick up the phone and call the people behind me. But I first want to say thanks to the project manager for this particular project, Coral Salgado. Coral, thank you so much for being here and for all your work. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to someone who left public service not that long ago. And we did have a great celebration at MRBA when he left because we appreciate his friendship and his partnership. And that's Mark Hable. And even though he's not here, I think we should give him a round of applause. And speaking on behalf of the Corps, for the New England District Deputy Commander is with us. He's Lieutenant Colonel Michael Carvelli. And Lieutenant Colonel, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your partnership, all of your patience, and all of your collaboration. It truly is a model. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. We appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Carvelli. I'm the Deputy District Commander of the New England District Corps of Engineers, and I'll follow in the Congressman's stead. Thank you to all of our esteemed officials that are here with us today and everybody that had a part to plan this. The civil works missions of the district are many and varied and include things such as environmental restoration and flood risk management. And this maintenance dredging project ensures the federally designated navigation channels into the Merrimack River and the harbor are at the authorized dimensions, as mentioned, so that traffic can flow. This channel plays a critical role in our economy, transportation, and safety. And I just want to say thanks especially to the team that's standing over here in the white hard hats and vests, the folks that are delivering the program. And so, you know, it's excellent that you brought up Coral and the great work is our project manager, but the folks standing back there like Tim and Jihan and John that are out here every day with our contracting partners delivering these projects to the folks that need it. And just a special thanks from me to you for everything that you do every day and the miles you put on to do things like this. So just on behalf of the district, I wanted to say thanks for all the partnering, for putting your faith in us, for us to deliver this project for the safety of the citizens that live here. And on behalf of the district and Colonel John Adelano, the commander, just wanted to thank you again for your continued collaboration, and we look forward to finding solutions to the issues raised so we can do this together. Thanks.
thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for, again, your steadfast partnership and your leadership. And I do think we should take a moment just to give a special recognition to everyone from the Corps who is here. I think everybody's wearing a green vest, so we can identify you that way. Let's give you a big round of applause. And it's not only good to see you here today, we look forward to seeing you a lot more. So we want to get to know you this morning. So I do want to mention that one of the critical things of the MRBA, and it's been mentioned by the Senator and the Congressman, is that we have local officials that are part of the discussion every single time, whether or not the project is in their district or whether it's in another district, because by standing together, we have the effect that we have. So I want to recognize from the town of Salisbury, we have Selectman Chuck Takesian is here, and I want to say thank you for being here. And I know that we have at least 3 representatives of the Newbury Board of Selectmen. Would you just say hi and introduce yourselves?
Alicia Greco, Chair.
Jeff Walker.
Jerry Eady.
I think we have a quorum. Thank you all for being here. All right, next is one of our legislative partners who has been a consistent contributor to the MRBA, someone who is always part of the discussion, and someone whose passion for getting things done can never be doubted, my colleague, State Senator Diana Dizoglio.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Isn't it a great morning?
Yes.
This is finally happening, and it is all due to your efforts. I do want to say thank you to our federal partners, to our local partners, to the state delegation. We have all been, working on these issues relentlessly on your behalf, but we've only been able to do so because of your continuing to educate us and make sure that we understand fully what has been happening here on Plum Island. In particular, I want to give a shout out to Mayor Donna Holliday, who helped to educate me when I first became your senator on the challenges that residents were facing. And Councilor Zeid for his part in helping to make sure that the entire state delegation was continuously made aware. Thank you, Councilor. Without local advocates like them and all of you, this would not be happening today. So I want to thank you for your partnership on the MRBA, for coming to those meetings. I see a lot of your faces out there. You have come out year after year after year after year, and we could keep going with this, to make sure that these homes are protected, that the public has safety on Plum Island. And it is due to those efforts that this is happening today. So I know that a lot has been said. I don't want to repeat what has already been said. Thank you to everybody. This is what I want to use my time doing, is just saying thank you to the residents, thank you to the activists, thank you to those who served on the MRBA for educating your officials so that we've been able to effectively advocate for this to occur today. Thanks to you.
Thank you so much, Senator, and it is true. All of the folks that have contributed to the MRBA have really made the difference, and it's the fact that we have one conversation together. And I did want to take a minute to recognize someone who has, time and again, whenever we've asked, helped us with engineering and advice about the way structures should be, and that's Anders Bjørngard. And I want to just say thank you so much. I have no idea how much free work Anders has given us, but we deeply, deeply appreciate it, and we deeply appreciate the fact that every time we've asked, you have been there. So thank you so much for that. And hopefully we'll get a tax deduction for you of some sort. I'm not sure how we're going to manage that, but at any rate, next up, we have someone who has spent an unbelievable amount of time working to understand the issues of coastal dynamics and engineering, and how we might best work together to be able to take an action that will be effective and that will get us to where we need to be. And he has an engineering background to begin with. He has brought it to the table, and we're thankful that he's been there, and we're thankful that he's here today. State Representative Lenny Mirra.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much for that. I'm only my 5th term. Senator Tarr has been here a long time, and the one constant of my years in office are these MRBA meetings. I can't tell you how many meetings we've had over the years. Totally lost count of that, but this doesn't happen without the diligent efforts of Senator Tarr. So thank you so much for that, Bruce. Greatly appreciated. And you know, at a time when our nation just seems so hopelessly divided, polarized, where gridlock seems the order of the day, what an excellent example of what we can accomplish when we put those differences aside and work towards a common goal. For that, we really have to thank our federal delegation. Senator Markey, Congressman Moulton, this doesn't happen with your efforts. I know it could not have been easy, but thank you so much for doing that. It's an honor to see you out here on the island. Lastly, let me just mention municipal workers. In addition to our current former mayors, in addition to our select board members, a project of this size is a permitting and regulatory nightmare, and it doesn't happen without a lot of people crossing T's and dotting I's. I see Conservation Agent Julia is here today. Julia, you were at every single meeting. Thank you for your help in this. The permitting, I know, was a nightmare. Thank you so much for that. But what we accomplished today is something that will be appreciated and enjoyed, and will benefit the entire region for generations to come. So thank you to everyone who put this together. I'm just honored and proud to have been a part of it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Representative. We deeply appreciate your being here, and we appreciate all of your contributions. I do want to also recognize someone who has acted in a consultatory way with the MRBA, who's actually also a select person, and that is Peter Phippen from the town of Essex and the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. Thank you so much. So next we want to turn to another one of our federal sponsors, or our non-federal sponsors, because it's important to understand that when sand needs to go on the beach, there has to be a non-federal sponsor that is paying for the cost of that. And I hope he brought his checkbook today. We are on his property when we are out there in his representative capacity for all of us. But I do want to welcome, and I'm not sure you've been here before, you might have, but I do want to welcome the DCR Commissioner, Doug Rice. Doug, thank you so much. He doesn't want to speak.
Oh, he'll speak.
I think
Changed his mind.
He'll speak.
I think maybe he saw the speaker's fee. And are you sure? Okay. All right. Moving right along, it's time to turn for a moment to the outstanding representation that we've had on behalf of the people of Newburyport, and certainly on behalf of the people on Plum Island from the city of Newburyport. And I do want to take a moment just to recognize we have at least two Newburyport City Councilors here today. I know we have Sharif Zeid, and let's give him a round of applause and thank him. And we also have Mark Wright, and let's say thank you to Mark. And if I missed anyone, please raise your hand. I'm so blinded by all these green vests that I'm trying to figure out other people that are here. But also we've had unbelievable advocacy and support and collaboration from the mayor's office in the city of Newburyport. And this project actually has gone on so long that it's straddled mayors, but we have a lot to be thankful for Mayor Donna Holliday, and I want to give you a round of applause right now, and thank you so much. And I think about 30 seconds after Mayor Sean Reardon was elected, I called him and I said, we got to go walk the beach. And Mayor Reardon hit the ground running. He was a solid partner and an energetic and engaged partner right from the very start. And we would not be here without his leadership as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, Newburyport Mayor Sean Reardon.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful, beautiful day to be out here on Plum Island. You could not have asked for a more perfect day. So first, thank you all for coming today. This project's been a long time coming, and I got to come in as the process was started. We were able to get it home. We were able to get qualifying bids this year. We're putting the sand on the beach as we speak. And this, this was just a huge, huge effort. I got to attend Governor Baker's last State of the Commonwealth, and one of the themes in that speech was collaboration is how difficult things get done. So that's kind of been the theme of my first term in office, and I think it's so fitting here because there are so many different entities that are in play out here that you have to work collaboratively with. I want to thank Senator Markey's office, Senator Warren's office, Congressman Moulton. They've been such great partners at the federal level working through this process, especially for a new mayor. I think I know Kelly and I, we collaborate quite a bit on a lot of different things here for Newburyport. But this is just the first step, right? Senator Tarr referenced this at the beginning. you know, we're going to get the sand back on the beach, and then the next step takes place, right? We're going to use the funds that we received from the Senator Markey's office, $240,000, to work on that study with the Army Corps of Engineers. And again, this is just a continuation. We're going to fix that jetty, and we're going to give the residents of Plum Island hopefully some peace. I want to thank all the residents of Plum Island in particular. Keep advocating for your island. You are such a huge part of Newburyport. You give so much to the city. You're not just an outlier out here, right? You're here, you're just an important part of the city. This is a huge first step. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Please reach out to my office if you ever have anything that you need. And again, thank you again for all the partners here. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reardon, for your leadership, your tenacity, and your collaborative spirit. It really is what drives the MRBA and what it drives days like this. So we're so very, very appreciative. I also want to thank a couple of other members of your team. Julia has been referenced once, but we need to give her a round of applause. Conservation Agent Julia Godfredson, thank you so much. And also, I think I saw our Harbor Master, Paul Hogg, is up in the back. Paul, thank you so much. And of course, we can't, from DPS, I'm not sure what his official title is, except for he's the guy that gets things done. Jamie, thank you so much. Let's give you a round of applause. So, before we get to Lela Wright, who has been a wonderful and gracious host by providing us with all the power for all of these news gathering devices.
And a huge advocate.
But before we want to get, we're going to get to her in a minute. But first, in a late minute addition to our program, Ward 1 City Councilor Sharif Zeid. Sharif?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to take a minute to address everybody. I take a tremendous amount of pride in being the lowest level representative. I'm your neighbor. I live near you. I see you all the time. And part of that pride is just getting to come and sit in people's living rooms, sit in their backyards, meet them, walking the dog. And I know how painful it's been down here. And I think this is your victory. This is your win. You worked hard for it. You earned it. And I think nobody knows more than you that there's yet more road to be traveled. And my message to those that I get to work with, and really what I want to thank the folks behind me for, is giving me a place to speak. You know, it's not often that a city councilor gets to go and communicate, say, with federal partners, and that's partially the power of the MRBA as well, is that we have a lot of dynamics, and what we need is, I think the catchphrase is new rules and new tools, and I want to be a part of that discussion and working with residents and talking to you and then being able to bring that voice forward. So it's been a tremendous honor to represent you, and I thank you, and again, congratulations to you and your neighbors. We'll see you out there planting grass. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. We deeply appreciate your engagement with the MRBA. Again, you are at every meeting. I know you usually come with a list of questions, and you hold everyone's feet to the fire, and it has made a huge difference, so thank you. You know, there's been so many people at this microphone that have been who have spoken about the power and the enthusiasm and the engagement of the citizenry, and how everyone that's affected by these issues on Plum Island has stuck with us and come to the MRBA. And I know that it's been a long road, and I know that sometimes it's been frustrating, and I know sometimes it's been difficult, but you never gave up. And that's why we're here today. And so we owe you a huge debt of gratitude. And while we'd like to have everyone at the microphone to be able to speak, standing in a representative capacity is one of our hosts today and the homeowner of this wonderful home, Lela Wright. Lela, come on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Tarr. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And everybody's already been acknowledged, except one person. There are two people here that show up every time we're in trouble, every time we have a storm. One of them was Jamie, who was mentioned. The other is Chief Bradbury. And I can't tell you what it means when you're the property owner who is afraid to stay and afraid to go, when it's your property that's at risk, and you have people show up that say, look, we can't do everything, but what can we do right now? It means the world to us. And I do try to speak for everybody. It's not just me. I know I'm not alone in saying that it means so much to us when you guys show up, because it gets scary out here. And as Coral's heard me say, I'm so happy to have people out here. I don't care how many lights are up. I don't care how many beeping vehicles are moving. I don't care how many people are standing in the driveway watching. I'm just happy to have work being done. I feel like it's progress. We're definitely moving in the right direction. But I have to be honest, as much as this is a celebration for us, today it's not a celebration for one of my neighbors. One of the homes that was lost in the past year is coming down today. And it's really emotional and it's really difficult. And as much as we want to celebrate this moment, and we all do, and I certainly do, I need to at least mention how difficult this can be at times. And I apologize for that noisy little dog that's going to make a big fuss now. Sorry. We are, you know, today we're here working towards a solution, and the dredge is happening. It's been 12 long years in the making, and we're so happy. As I said, I don't care how loud it gets. I don't care how many vehicles are moving. But the residents of Plum Island care deeply about this place we call home. And we see these changes happening daily. I mean, we're the ones living here. We know exactly what's taking place, whether sand's getting brought in or sand's getting brought out. The erosion that you've seen here, this is not your typical shoreline erosion. This is not a product of climate change. This, you know, is a man-made problem. And the dredge will help replenish the sand, but in order for the sand to stay on the shore, we need that long-term fix. We need a permanent structure, a retaining breakwater wall, basically continue this spur all the way down to the point. Because the sand that gets thrown on the beach is going to stay here then. Without it, it's going to go. And it's not, I know there's a 2 to 5 year window, we're told, but it's not 2 to 5 years. We know that. It's going to go a lot faster. So we need to work together, and I know everybody is doing their very best to keep things moving and keep this ball rolling. But the neighborhood, the community will be out there planting grass. We'll be, you know, out there putting up fences. We'll be out there creating paths. These are the dunes, and this is our yard. This is our public, everybody's yard. But for us, it means the world to us, because without it, we're not going to be able to stay here. We've lost the road, we've lost our water, we've lost our driveways. We're here today making a difference, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here.
Well said, Lela. Thank you so very much. And a special thanks to Senator Warren's staff for controlling your dog. A very nice job up there, and we appreciate it. So we are at the point now where it's time to wind down. And it's time to think about where we've been, where we are, and where we're headed. And unfortunately, we have lost homes. We've been out here with our friends in the media so many times in a howling wind and a snowstorm and driving snow. And we've thought about the fact that someone's home was hanging in the balance. And in those times, we've recommitted ourselves to making sure that we don't stand by idly, that we don't stay in a reactive mode, but that we search for every possible option to be able to confront the threat that we live with every day in coastal marine environments. And we got here because we all decided that it wasn't enough for one person to fight that fight. It wasn't even enough for one community to fight that fight. It was incumbent on us to build the infrastructure that could lead to positive action and positive change. And that's why we're here today. Because we took that threat seriously, and because we took up the challenge of leadership on these issues when others might have said there's nothing we can do. But we know there's something we can do, and we're proving it today. But we also know that we have a moral obligation to continue to be good stewards of these coastal resources, and we have a moral obligation to help our neighbors when their homes and property and safety are threatened. So as we celebrate today, and we put sand on the beach, I hope that we'll rededicate ourselves to the path that we have been on. We don't even know everything that lies ahead. But we know that if we stay committed, if we stay collaborative, and if we believe in each other, we'll continue to be able to set the tone, set the pace, and set an example for everyone who looks to deal with big issues like the ones we're facing. My heartfelt gratitude to everyone. I want to say a particular thanks to someone you all know from my staff who coordinates MRBA meetings, Mike Doherty, right over here. Mike got a new pair of sunglasses just for today, and we're very happy to see them. And also someone that you might not see as often, but who helps us to communicate about these issues with you and the outside world, and that's Don Sirianni. And I know Don is here. I don't see him at the moment. He's right there, actually, taking all of your picture. So let's give him a round of applause. So let's remember the past. Let's remember this day. And let's remember just how powerful we can be when we work together. Thank you all for coming.